Woohoo! Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name's Julie, and I am going to lead the team call today. And then for the next month, I want to tell you what we're going to be talking about today and kind of cast some vision for where we're headed. So today we're going to talk about why. Why do we do isagenix? Why do we want to share it with other people? Why do we do what we do? Next week, I want to talk about the comp plan. So treating it as network marketing and not as direct sales is actually something I'm becoming very passionate about. The third week, I want to talk about products, how you can integrate them into your life. Hang on a second, I'm switching views. How you can integrate them into your lifestyle and benefit from the products in the season you're in, and how you can teach other people to use them. The last one, I want to work on leading leaders. We're all leaders. We need to learn how to lead leaders, because the people that we are called to and the people that we want to work with are going to be leaders, and they need to be led well. So those four, consecutive calls is what we're going to be working on. Today, as we talk about our why, I want to tell you, this is something I thought of on the way home from the gym this morning. If you're staying in a place of confusion, all your energy goes into solving the problem rather than executing the solution. And this is so much about like getting ready to get ready. You kind of hear about that a lot. But for our mental space to stay in a place of solving a problem, it's exhausting. You're just constantly trying to make a decision over and over and over again. So then you can't be present with your kids. You can't be present in your business. You can't execute the way that God's called you to. It's just kind of like this big trick. So that's kind of what I want to start off with. And so I want to help you talk through like why you want to make the decision of aligning with isagenix, aligning with tapping into residual income at all. Like, why are we doing this? Okay, so for you, it could be, you want to make $200 a month for a date night or fun money. That could be a reason why. If you want to make $1,000 a month to, budget in groceries and, show up as a mom to be able to pay for groceries that month, that's like very much could be your why of like, why are you doing this at all? You want to make $2,500 a month to pay off your debt and start really like putting a dent into getting back to living free. That's a huge reason why. So you've got to understand and look at the season you're in. Your why is going to change. It's not going to be the same all the time. So if you've reached your goal, you have to revisit your why again and show up and realize like, okay, I did that. Now I just need to regroup. Why do I want to keep doing this? Why do I want to continue and go further? So just for yourself, kind of dive in and go like, why am I here? Why do I want to do this? Okay, so for me, generally, I'm just going to help you kind of give you a starting point. I've got a passion for helping people thrive big time. If I want to make an impact, I have to make an investment. That's like a big piece of the puzzle here. And if I'm going to do it at all, I got to do it well. So if we're going to do this at all, show up and do it really well. If it's a skill to learn, you can learn it. Like nobody else is better than you. If it's a skill to learn, you've just got to be willing. So maybe you saw my post about doing handstand push-ups, but I started CrossFit about 8 months ago, and we were doing handstand push-ups in the workout. And I went up to a girl and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not sure. Because all I've been doing is putting the weights on the floor, and then I'll do like the little baby ones. Like I can't do them all the way. And so I was just kind of being open with her. She's one of my good friends. And I said, I don't know if I can do this. And she's like, Julie, I have seen you do it over and over and over again. Once you decide to do it, you'll figure out a way to make it happen. And I was like, that's actually really encouraging. So it gave me enough inspiration to go like, okay, you're right. Like, I'm not going to break my neck. I'm going to try this. And yeah, it's going to look funky for a couple of times. I'm going to look like a wiggly worm. But then I got it and I did 50 of them in the first workout. Like, that's amazing. So I just want to encourage you, once you decide, you just got to make the decision. All right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it well. So let me show you how to make this an investment. All right. So why is isagenix your platform? That's a big reason you need to know this answer. Why is Isagenix your platform, and why do you want to show up here? So number one, I put it's an everyone market. So it's for kids, it's for girls, it's for guys, it's for healthy aging. We don't say anti-aging, we say healthy aging. It's for everyone. It's an everyone market. It's an anyway product. So you're going to be eating food anyway. It's not stick on nails that, you're buying as an extra. It's something that you have an emotional attachment to. And every month you're going to go, hey, I want to eat this food anyway. It's an anyway product. That I have a lot of people tell me like, oh, I'm not a shake person. You don't have to be a shake person. This is not just a shake company. It's not a shake deal. That's not what we're about. So helping people understand what is this business and how does this business of health fit into who they are, because who they are could be vitamins and energy. They don't have to use all of the products. I love all of the products, but you know what? It's taken me like 5 years to get to the point where I do love all of the products. I try them at first and I'm like, I've been drinking sweet tea all my life. I don't really think that this is the same kind of sugary taste that I'm used to, right? No, it's not. It's much better. But it's taken me a while to realize the reason why I'm choosing this instead of, keeping up with what I was doing before. Okay, so it's an anyway product. It's the best comp plan out there. And I 100% agree. And I would not tell you anything different if I didn't believe it. 100% best comp plan there is out there. And then we have the best leaders in the industry. So what I learned this last celebration was super cool about our leaders. I know everybody's kind of gone like, when I first came in, people were talking about, Jim and Kathy Coover, oh, they're great leaders. Maybe other companies have a good comp plan, but they don't have our leaders. And I was kind of like, all right, well, that's cool. I don't know much about them, but let me tell you. So I don't know everything. Meredith can help me like way more, but Jim and Kathy Coover, one of the most interesting stories that I heard at Celebration was how he started this business with the right scientists. So this was really cool. So he saw the Soviet Union, it was right before it was about to fall. So 2 weeks before the Soviet Union fell, he had learned about adaptogenic herbs, and he wanted to touch base with a scientist that was in the Soviet Union. Adaptogenic herbs hadn't come to the Western world yet. And I don't remember what year this was. Meredith, you can type it out if you want to. So he had gotten in touch with the right scientists. Everybody was telling him oh, if that's what you're looking for, you've got to talk to this guy. And everybody was on the same page about it. So he was watching the news, learning about Soviet Union, whatever. And so he saw all the bread lines and all these people in need. And he's like, I got to do something, right? So he gets a suitcase, one full of meat and one full of cheese. And he packs $200,000 in his belt, in his pants, and flies on an airplane, goes over the Soviet Union, and he talks to the scientists about, hey, how, I know your research is the best out there. How do I bring this to the Western world? Because I'm on a mission to help people get healthy, and I'm on a mission in preventative healthcare and not just medicine, to fix a problem. So how do I bring this over there? And he was like, hey, they're going to they'll behead my family if I give this to you. If I go over there with you, I'm not leaving my family. So it was cool. He was on stage and he was like, there I was having a conversation that couldn't happen. And then 2 weeks later, the Soviet Union fell, and he had already made that contact, and he hired 50 scientists with this guy that worked with him, 50 scientists, and brought them over to the US to be able to start up isagenix. So, what's his name? I just lost his name. So there's Jim and Kathy Coover, and who's the other founder? Meredith will type it out for me. Thank you. John Anderson. See, I knew it was a John. Okay, so John Anderson was the formulator. He kept making all of these products and selling them to GNC and other companies. And they kept tweaking it enough for shelf life, or, when you sign off on a product and you say, here, you can have it, they can have it and they can change it. And so he was seeking out Jim and Kathy Coover because he was like, hey, I'm on a mission to get people healthy. And if they're healthy in their body, they got to be healthy in their bank account, because if both aren't like congruent, then it's lopsided. And I'm in the business of helping people get free. And so he sought out network marketing because he knew this is the best way to help people get fully free. I want to pair finances with nutrition for an avenue of freedom. So Jim and Kathy Coover were in the industry for 15 years before. I don't know if it was 15 years before. It might have been a little longer, but she was in 3 different companies, rose to the top in 3 different companies, saw the problems in each of the comp plans. And each time either they dropped her or she was like, I can't align with this. This is not like integrity. I can't do this. And so then they retire in Arizona and they're like, nope, I'm out. And then John Anderson found them and he begged them for years and said, please hear me out. Like, you guys are the best to be able to like use this as a platform to pair these 2 together. Let me talk to you about it. So he asked over and over and over and over. He finally, John Anderson said, if you just meet with me, I will give you a motorcycle. That's really funny. So he did. He met with him. He gave him the motorcycle, and it sits in isagenix headquarters today. So that's just a little piece of the leaders that we've aligned with. It's powerful. We can follow them. Okay, so another thing that I'm going to unpack a little bit next week some more is this is not a direct sales business. Let me explain that. So we can talk about the comp plan, but direct sales is when you're trying to literally just sell your product and that's all you're doing. So we're not in the business of just trying to sell our product. We're in the business of trying to help people get free all around. So holistic health, I know it's like a trendy word, however you want to create your reason of why and like what's congruent with you and the words that you want to use. But pairing freedom financially, physically, mentally, all of that, like holistic health is the goal, right? So it's not about being a middleman and like, I know I've heard before, like slinging shakes out of your trunk, you know, it's not about being a middleman, but it's about casting a vision for people to fully understand. This is what you like, this is what you could align with. This is the platform that you could have, and this is what you could do with this, and let them make the decision. But it's your job to be able to cast that vision well, the vision of freedom. So not just, you know, trunk slinging your shakes. What do you say? I don't know what you say. You're not just trying to like sling product and get people to buy $30 here, $30 there. You're not making any kind of profit. You're not the middleman. Stop being the middleman. So we talked about that on the last call of like, hey, find your people to run with. So we can talk about the comp plan next week, but I do want to say something about that. As you're like building belief and learning about your why, the ones you're looking for are looking for you. So powerful, because we can come from a place of so much negative self-talk if we're constantly hearing in our head, like, why am I doing this? They just feel rejection, or they feel like I'm trying to push something on them. I don't want to feel rejection. This is really hard. All the negative self-talk you hear in your head, it's just going to slow you down. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But another reason why. So in 2030, they talked about 800 million jobs are going to be displaced in the US because of artificial intelligence. This is a massive deal. To me, this is a stat that you can, put on social media or whatever. We're in the business of freedom. How can we literally not warn people of how there's going to be a pitfall when we know 10 years from now? Like, that's crazy. We got to set ourselves up for success of 10 years from now. What's my life going to look like? How am I going to empower people? How am I going to impact people? How am I going to love them well? Because I can't pretend like this isn't happening. Okay, so the US has $1.5 trillion in debt right now. That's bad news bears, guys. That's a lot, that's a lot of money. You're slapping at me. In the year 2032, Social Security runs out. Millennials don't even understand what this means. They don't care. They live in the now. They live in like, hey, it's 50 years from now, I'll worry about it then. But as leaders, we've got to help set them up for success and cast the vision for what their life could be in in their choices they're making now. So that's really important to me. Okay. So last thing I want to talk about with like why isagenix, why share with people, why make this any kind of part of your life at all. Reverse it. Why not? Why not? Like what is the harm? You are going to learn so much. If we're like, okay, I have like this huge thing this year about failing forward, right? I know you've probably seen it, but fail freaking forward. That's the only way to get forward. That's the only way to do what you're called to do. So you fail, and it's part of the recipe for like what is going to be created later on. Failure is not like a setback. Failure literally sets you up. So you got to like redefine failure in your brain. Okay. So on the topic of like, why not? It's your groceries. It can be your vitamins. It can be your shakes. It can be your kid food. It can be your energy support. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be your skincare. It can be your essential oils. Like, come on, guys, you're eating your overhead. We talked about that a little bit last week, but you spend $150 that you're consuming or providing for your family to consume, and you have a business. That is your overhead. That's amazing. Okay, so you get paid as you learn. All the bonuses, we'll talk about the comp plan next week. You get paid as you learn. There's leadership development as you learn. It's an encouraging culture. The comp plan is set up to where everybody literally wants everybody else to benefit, not so that they can benefit, but just so that they understand the potential that they have in their lives. Like, I want you guys to know the potential that you have in your life to make an impact, to love people well, like all of these things. It's a light bulb that goes off. And then once you make the decision and you're like, no, if it's a skill to learn, I'm going to do it. And if I'm going to do it at all, I'm going to do it well. Once that light bulb goes off, man, you guys are unstoppable. And I want that light bulb to go off for every single person, whether they're on our team or not. Like that's a part of just investing in people. That's amazing. All right. So you get to tap into your own potential. We kind of already talked about that, but you get to tap into your own potential by showing other people theirs. You are a leader. You were created to be a leader. Like, can I tell you, you are a leader, and there are other people watching you and they want to follow you. They just don't know how. They're literally sitting there like, I want to be you. How do I be you? And you kind of tell them in this like, oh, I hope they're not feeling like I'm trying to like slime them or just talk them into something. And they feel that you're like, I hope you're not like, okay, well, maybe they are. It's really important how you show up and what you say in the passion in your voice. That takes time to develop, but it also, it takes a decision to develop, because once you make the decision, then you will develop. Okay, I'm going to stop there. All right. So we're going to talk next week about the power of two, the compound effect and our comp plan, and how to tell someone what their goals are in cycles. That's really, really important, because we understand cycles, but as we are explaining to other people, we need to be able to cast the vision well on how you can explain what their goals are in cycles, what exactly they need to do to be able to maximize their comp plan. We need to be able to explain that well and cast vision to them, because if it's just money, I got to say, when Meredith was telling me about like, oh, you can make $1,000 here, I was like, impossible. Like, that's where my brain was at. It was like, not happening. I hadn't decided that was even possible. And so the people that you're working with, remember, they're your former you. We talked about your niche is like your former you. So remember the things that you were thinking. One of the things I was thinking, this is just super transparent, if I wasn't in community, I probably wouldn't really use this product. I mean, that's just where I was at. If I wasn't in love with the people in this community, I really wouldn't. I would have just gone to the grocery store. It's pretty easy to just go grab something from the grocery store than it is to learn a whole new way of thinking, of ordering, of like why we do this. It's just extra effort to learn something new, right? But it's worth it, like so worth it. Let me tell you. All right. So homework, I want to ask you, and then I'm going to backtrack just in 1 second, but because I don't feel like I'm done. What is holding you back? So that's your homework. What's the one thing that's holding you back Is it, I mean, gosh, it could be anything. Like is it you don't really know your why? You're not clear on your why. Is it fear of like what other people are going to think of you? What's holding you back? Do you not know the comp plan well enough to be able to explain it in confidence? There's got to be something that's a roadblock right now in your mindset, and you've got to be able to dig back through. So if your roadblock is something like worth or value, like I can't step into this, worth or value, I just want you to do one thing. Go back into your life and think, when was the first time I didn't feel worthy? When was the first time I was told I'm not worthy? When was the first, like all of those? And ask, like, when did this come into my life? And then you either, the things spoken over us are either you align with them, or you draw a line in the sand and you go, that's not a part of who I am. So if we don't draw the line in the sand, then we align. Does that make sense? So to go back into our life and remember, like, okay, I'm really trying to do this business. I'm really trying to like step out, but I keep thinking, like, so whatever your roadblock is, like, I keep thinking this, like, this is where my pattern, I start like going, I go, and then it's like, boom, rejection hits or whatever it is. Go back into your life and go, okay, when was the first time I was rejected? What did that feel like? Why? What did I decide in my head? You decided something out of that experience. Did you decide like, okay, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to step out and be the vulnerable one because they just laugh at me. Like, what did you decide in your head? And then you need to, like, in your head go, all right, I'm not, like, that vow that I made, I'm not deciding to operate that way anymore. I'm choosing to operate this way, and you replace it with truth. So what's the truth? Like, who are you? Maybe lies were spoken over you of your worth and your value and your rejection and what's your feeling. But who are you? Like, put the truth in there instead and draw the line in the sand and go, I'm not listening to this anymore, because this is when it came in and this is how I partnered with it all throughout my life. And that's not happening anymore. You've got to be able to do the work and like on your heart to be able to get over those roadblocks in your business, because your business isn't going to change unless you change. Did you hear me? Your business is not going to change unless you change. You've got to be willing to learn. You've got to be willing to go back and realize, why am I stuck? Why do I have a roadblock? And then choose to get past it. Choose to like replace it with truth. Because if you stay in the muck, then you're going to just stay there. Don't stay there. We don't want you to stay there. All right. In order for there to be courage, there has to be fear. So do you remember Michelle Poler? I talked about her a little bit with Hello Fears. I am still doing 100 Days of Brave, by the way. I have not quit, and it is going well, and it is terrifying, because for me, brave is not risk or adventure. Like, I love that. It's more about being brave in like rejection or the scary things that I don't want to do. Like, I'll go jump off a bridge. I love that kind of stuff. I'll jump off a cliff. I'll go skydiving. I love adventure. But risk is like, I don't know. Or like, okay, so we're going to talk about this. Okay. 3 types of fear. There's universal fear. So write this down. There's cultural fear. And then there's personal fear. If you went to Celebration, you may have already heard this, but it was phenomenal. The universal fear is like danger. That's like, I could die doing this. I probably shouldn't pick up that spider. That's a universal fear. Cultural fear makes us act a certain way to feel accepted. That's me. I need to just turn that off. And I'm in the process of doing that. Cultural fear makes us act a certain way to feel accepted. So let me ask you, as we're kind of like, I'm all about like going back into your life and thinking about, well, who am I now? Why am I the way I am today? Because of, because of how we grew up or whatever. Let me ask you a question. Which parent did you want to receive love from the most? And what did you have to do to be able to earn that love from that parent? And then like genuinely write it out and go, what did I have to be to feel accepted? It's a big deal. on how we operate now and what we do to be accepted today. Okay, so those are cultural fears. And then the last one is personal fears. They keep us from disappointing ourselves. Oh, crap. Personal fears and cultural fears. We gotta like turn off the negative self-talk in our heads. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If we're gonna stay in our comfort zone, we're not gonna grow. So what do you need to do to be able to grow? We've been talking about that a lot today. But I wanna leave you with this one question. We talked about why today, and immediately our brains can go like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? That's where our brains go. But you need to switch it again and ask, what's the best thing that can happen? Because you can learn so much, you can impact so much, you don't have to, if you don't want to make this a full business, you don't have to make it a full business. Can I just give you permission to do that? The compound effect of like the power of 2 will change your life. 100% agree in it. Like, I'm like all about it. If you don't want to make this a business, don't make it a business. Make it an investment. This is a residual income company. Make it an investment. This is a huge deal. You eat your overhead. It makes you feel alive. It's great for your kids. It's great for your husband. Like, it's awesome. There's performance products. There's all kinds of stuff. Make it an investment. And then if you're going to show up well, like learn the skill. I really challenge you. Like if you're a leader, if you were created a leader, you got to figure out how to lead leaders, because if it's a skill to learn, you got to learn it. All right. I think that's it for today. So we're going to turn off the recording and I'll see you guys next week.